happens.
No, are you from here or like? Oh no, this is AI. This is AI created. This is not her.
What? No. आज luckily I came early.
No,
मतलब
no,
early नहीं अभी आई हूँ.
no. We cannot believe it. No. Yeah, you have been teaching us from the last 2-3 weeks. Come on.
What?
Yeah, ऐसा ऐसा कौन करता है? And where is our speaker by the way? क्या मतलब? अरे टीचर्स डे है, ऐसा थोड़ी होता है. Okay. And what about everyone? मिठाई मिला किसी को? Oh, nice. वाह. Yeah, we are waiting for sweets. Come on.
I
It's
told Prantik I'm running 2-3 minutes late, and it just took me 2 minutes, yaar. I was wrapping that presentation. Good. Can I share my screen?
नहीं इतना भी
No, just saying a hello, yaar. Hello. I can say a hello. I hope you guys can see it.
guys no बोलना समझो.
Yaar. No, don't do that, please.
All right, guys. So first of all, where are you all from? Like, please comment your city.
Why are you sending them pizzas?
You are sending them pizza. I'm helping you.
When was I sending them?
इस पे बात में करते हैं. Yeah. So yeah, guys, please send your. I mean, like that would help us, right? Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Village, okay. यार at least mention West Bengal, right? यार village क्या होता है यार? बताओ यार सेंटी दे रहे हो. But okay, I'm in Chennai. You have no idea, Naima. You are missing out on a lot of things. Trust me. Hey,
I know,
Bangalore.
I know. But
Hey, you don't know anything. Come on.
it all.
Okay, you live beside Naima. Oh, nice. That's yeah. Chelsi is rising.
What?
कुछ नहीं. I just said today's Wednesday. So, should we start now or like 7:10? What is it like? Over to you. And yeah, by the way, Prantik is today's host. So
Seven.
yeah.
Like, let's wait till 7 now. Like, it's nice.
Okay, done. If you have any questions, you can just ask it right now. Like just pre-session questions, anything to interact, something like that. You
And you
can.
can keep dropping questions in the middle one. If I find them relevant, I will talk about them in the middle only. Otherwise, in the end, there is a Q&A session, obviously.
Done. चलेगा. Any ice breaking or anything you want to ask, you can ask. Okay. And yeah, anybody who wants to ask questions in middle, please raise your hand. Okay, and you can ask your questions later on. Okay, that's it. All the
Cool.
best.
So, uh, you have to call. Like, my name is there to call me. Like, why do you want another name to call me? Someone, the context is someone commented what to call Chelsea if not Chelsea. So it's super random. Cool. How many freelancers are there? May I, if I can know? Wow. Wow. Okay. Full free. Pratik said full free. Sabhi free. Okay. Full timers. How many full timers are here? Wow. These guys are like moonlighting. People are raising hands for jobs as well and freelancing as well. Wow. Wow. I can just do even like I can just do one thing. उसके अलावा तो if I start doing another thing, I will just make a mess of it. 7 days, 4 weeks, 12 months, 24 hours. Is it cool? Chalo, let's start. It's 7:07. I don't want to take much time. It will be a long session, not that long, but I think that it might be long. So, uh, this is my prep image. If you can see, I wrote it during a deep work session and figure out if this is what I have to prepare actually. I don't know, I'm just going to talk about my journey and about my learnings. Uh, Cute handwriting. Okay. 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 Cool. I will not get distracted by Ritain and Prantik from now on, and will continue my session. So yeah, I'm going to share my journey, and I am not an expert. I am yet to be there. I don't know when, but let's see. Cool. So before coming to everything, about my exams during my exams were supposed to happen in like July or August types, and they did happen in August. So March 2020 it felt very uncertain. Ki what will happen in the next coming months after we all heard about the lockdown and the whole corona thing. So what happened is lockdown obviously, and I was unsure of what to do. So August 2020 I wrote my last exam, and got freed up from all the stress of college and all of that stuff. What happened next is I did my BSc, so I had to prepare for my masters. So my masters, there were two options, do IIT Jam, preparation of IIT Jam, that is for masters and IITs, or just get admitted in a local college or something. I was not that kind of academics type. After I joined college, I thought ki, academics is not for me. Kind of I figured this very soon, but still I tried, prepared for masters and all of that stuff. June 2021, I was preparing for my masters as well. I was, looking for ways to do something. Lockdown tha, obviously we were very free and very uncertain kind of time. So I kind of started learning coding. I did CSS, Python, all of that stuff. Also, uh, blogging and all. I created my website around June 2021. It's the setup that this is my brother's laptop. He got the laptop first because he had to do online coaching. So he got the laptop first. It's a second-hand laptop where I started blogging. And yeah, June 2021, it seemed like this. And then happened November 2021. My own laptop came in. What happened during that time is my brother went to Kota and I didn't have access to laptop. I took I borrowed my cousin's laptops and all of that stuff. I did to continue my blogging. Finally, November was some hope. I bought my own. No, my father bought for me basically. So he bought my laptop, and you know I started blogging continuously. You can see November 2021, you can officially say I started doing something. Okay. उसके बाद what happens is March 2022 I land my first client. How it happened actually is I started blogging. I started posting about it on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and started kind of promoting. and writing blogs. So someone, reached out to me. It was an inbound lead when someone reaches out to you after reading your content or maybe from somewhere else. It's an inbound lead. So I got an inbound lead for blogs. I agreed. It was my very first project. I was very excited. I didn't get paid before March 2022. It was just basic assignments, friends के assignment कर दिए 150 rupees, 200 rupees kind of stuff. So March 2022, it all started. Official journey started on March 2022 as a freelancer. May 2022, I landed another blog client from Twitter. I also, posted consistently on Twitter. So, inbound leads were my only source back then. Cool. So what happened after this is I landed. I did these few projects, inbound projects, blogging and other kind of stuff. Then I also got a referral for LinkedIn management. I did not know what LinkedIn management initially was, but I was up for anything, right? So what happened next is I did things and got into full time. Uh, picked up really interesting things. I left freelancing in September when I landed my first job. After September, I quit my job in June 2023, which is, 2 months back. Yeah, 2 months back, 3 months back, whatever you say it. And I turned a full time freelancer. It's a very random decision. I did not think of it. I just wanted to get out of my job because I wanted to do a lot more things, right? So that's where the journey began of full time freelancer. And last month was my first month of becoming a full time freelancer. Uh, I hope you guys are hearing me, right? It feels like I'm just talking to a wall, like literally. Cool. Backstory बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया, There's a lot other things, but yeah, let's move on to what. मैंने ये story क्यों सुनाई है इतनी ज़्यादा? I hope you guys are comfortable with Hindi as well. If not, I will not speak in Hindi. Hmm. So yeah, turned a full-time freelancer last month, and I want to talk about it. Why did I tell you this itna zyada backstory? From 2020, because it took me this much time to figure out, right? It took me this much time to land my first inbound client. It took me like 4 or 5 months to land my first client, and then referrals keep coming in and things like that. I want to tell you, it's not a get rich, get quick rich, whatever you call it, dude. I'm very confused and nervous right now, so you get the gist, right? It's like you cannot do it in a day. As people call it, Rome wasn't built in a day. So it takes time. That's why I told you the whole backstory of it. I turned a freelancer, I did gigs and, landed full-time jobs. So there was a lot of things. Now I know that I had the confidence to, turn a full-time freelancer, and I did. It was very random. There was nothing major decision like इतना ज़्यादा सोचा कुछ करा नहीं. I just did it, right? It took me 6 months to land my first gig. Again, 2 years. It's been 2 years, right? It took me 2 years to be where I am today. So I'm telling you this because it is not, a short term thing. You have to put in efforts, you have to put in hours, you have to put in a lot of things before you confidently do it in the way that you don't want to do anything. Like you can turn a full time freelancer in a way that you don't have to do anything else. So it takes time, just keep patience and trust yourself. In the months, when I was blogging and writing on my personal website, it felt like why am I even doing this, right? It was very uncertain. It was very random. These things kind of keep popping up, right? Even still, right now I'm a full-time freelancer. I still think, why am I doing this? It is taking up so much energy, so much patience. So it will stay like this. Life is crazy. It will remain crazy. You have to just go through the crazy. This is what I want to share because I know when I was at the early stage, I did not know about freelancing, and if I had the push, it would have taken me, half the time that it took me initially, right? That's why I want to share these things to you all, so that you can also, could start your journey and you know what to do and where to start, right? So yeah, let's start. I already have spoken a lot. So yeah, freelancing. What do freelancers actually do? It's basically a job, but you are your own boss. You don't have any, contracts with a company. You just do it on your own. You just do it individually, right? It's like a job, but you have the freedom. You are your own boss and stuff like that. You already might know. In freelancing, what you can basically do is the jobs that people normally do, graphic design, video editing, content writing, blogging, SEO management, whatever there exists, in the online or maybe digital industry, you can, do it as a freelancer, right? Here we are gonna talk about LinkedIn, a little bit Twitter, a little bit Reels, and ghostwriting in general. But yeah, the whole process, everything looks like almost the same except the skills. Only skills differ in freelancing. Rather, the rest of the process is almost, same, almost similar. Clients, getting clients, onboarding them, operations, invoices, templates, everything is similar. So yeah, freelancing, you can do LinkedIn management, you can do Twitter management, you can do social media management overall. That includes Instagram as well. You can do blogging, you can do copywriting, you can do advertising, you can do graphic designing, whatever there is in the digital industry, right? So, what does a freelancer do? Like a person like me, what do I do? I basically do ghostwriting and LinkedIn management, and a little bit of copywriting as well. Copywriting overall is a broad term. I will say ki. I will say that I ghostwrite. It also involves copywriting. I do write tweets. It is also a form of copywriting. I sometimes do advertising or maybe personal projects is also copywriting. So copywriting is a very broad term. I want to talk about ghostwriting and a few things about Twitter and Instagram. So yeah, let's get into it. If you guys have any questions, just keep dropping in. Cool. Okay. So, how do you start? How do you begin? Right? This is the question that people ask me. I have received a lot of questions which mostly included how to start, what to do and where to begin, which is a very interesting question itself. It's like first thing, it's very cliche, but just start writing things down. Aaj group mein bhi there was a discussion going on. Someone wanted to start an agency and she was very unsure of what to do. So people started typing in ki, write down your goals and all of that stuff. You literally have to be have clarity on what you want to actually do. Let's say I'm good at writing. I figured out I'm good at writing. How do you figure that? It's kind of, a little bit intuition, and it's kind of, you can also learn it, but it's more of, do you have interest in it? Let's say you want to begin with content writing. Maybe try it for a month or two, and if you don't think this is your thing, then you can move on to maybe graphic designing. You have to experiment. You have to start with one thing to figure out if it actually is your thing, right? When people ask me what to start, how to begin, what to do, and how to figure out your interest, I think Harsh asked me this question, how to figure out your interest along, like a few days back. So how you figure out your interest is by actually doing it, by experimenting with it. I did not know I was good at LinkedIn copywriting until I started. I started from blogging, right? I did not like blogging at all. I did it for 4 5 months and then figured out, no, this is not my thing. Then I moved to LinkedIn copywriting and management kind of stuff, right? So it's like you have to start. You have to do it actually. You have to experiment. That's how you know it is your thing. And then when you know it is your thing, let's say in my case, ghostwriting, I will double down on that and figure out how to get paid for it. right? I will practice it, I will write content, I will post on my profile first, build my profile, build my get results for my profile and show them to the potential clients, and then provide my services to them. So it's like you start, you experiment, you build your own profile. Social media, it's like if you're working with social media or graphic designing or whatever things, it's very important to have samples. In case of LinkedIn, you can just write on your own profile. In case of Twitter, you can start building your profile first. In case of graphic designing, you can create samples for brands and create a portfolio out of that. So this is how it works. You have to experiment, you have to create samples, you have to show them to clients, and then you get the clients, right? This is how you start. Experiment, practice, and then pitch your services. Pitching your services is another thing. I think it will be covered in maybe later stages on at maybe someone better than me and someone expert in lead gen or pitching people can come in and take another session. But right now I'm just trying to cover the basics, so that people who don't have an idea where to start can start actually. So this is basic. When it comes to ghostwriting, uh, let's say I ghostwrite for founders, I ghostwrite for coaches, whatever it is, your niche, whatever your niche is. You start you start with providing them with services, right? You tell them, I can ghostwrite for you, I can save your time, or maybe I can get you leads. Whatever your offer is, you can do that, right? And then how do you start ghostwriting? Ghostwriting includes a lot of stuff. Let's say you can ghostwrite for ghostwrite on LinkedIn. You can write ghost. You can ghostwrite on Twitter. You can even ghostwrite blogs. How do you ghostwrite blogs? Is you just write a blog and uh, it gets published in under another author's name or maybe company name, right? And how do you ghostwrite LinkedIn posts? It goes out from a founder's profile and they don't know that you are writing it. Similar with reels, similar with content, similar with LinkedIn, similar with threads, and similar with any other thing present on the internet that is there. It's ghostwriting when you are not out there and you are writing it as a ghost basically. So that's why it's ghostwriting. I don't know how did they come up with this name. Cool. So yeah, please keep dropping in if you have any questions, right? क्योंकि अगर बीच में if I miss anything, I can cover it if I see good questions, right? Keep try to get your questions out if you have any. So when it comes to ghostwriting, this is how you start. You start with your profile or maybe create some samples. You build your own profile, you show the results to people, and you provide them services. You ghostwrite for them. How do you ghostwrite is another dilemma. You can write. You write. You can write. But what other things are included in ghostwriting? Let's say someone approached me for ghostwriting. What I will actually do, right? What I will actually do is talk to them first, what they want, this which is discovery, which is basically called discovery, right? I will talk to them and figure out what they actually want. Why do they want me to ghostwrite for them? Do they want visibility? Do they want to get discoverable? Do they want to generate more leads, or do they want to create a community? Different goals, different pillars, and different strategies. Remember that it is not just about followers and impressions, it's a lot more than that. Followers and impressions these days are kind of vanity metrics. By vanity metrics, what do I mean is they can be tracked, but they are not important, right? It's not necessary that they will be important. In some places they can be. Let's say you want to get discovered, you will focus on impressions, you will focus on engagement. If you want to get more leads, you will focus on leads, you will focus on quality content to maybe push more case studies out, push more testimonials out to show potential clients that I have the potential to do something, right? So it depends on goals. It doesn't matter कि किसका profile है, but you should know कि what is their goal, what do they want to actually achieve. Do they want more business or do they want more discoverability? and that's how you strategize for them, and that's how you start writing for them. I will cover these topics one by one. When it comes to freelancing, one important aspect that gets missed is operations. What do I mean by operations is when we talk about freelancing, skills is just 30% of it, I would say. In my personal opinion, based on my experience, I will say skills is just 30% of it. 30% of it. Operations is like a major part of it. Basically, you do, let's say you are a company in yourself. You are a solopreneur or jobi you say it, or you are a company in yourself. You have to manage sales, you have to manage invoices, you have to manage contracts, you have to manage clients, you have to manage their onboarding, you have to manage everything from A to Z, right? This is what most people miss out on when they start freelancing, and then they are uncertain कि freelancing is not working out for me. You should know that skills is not the only thing that you need for freelancing. You need to do more than that. You need to do sales, you need to do all the boring operations part, which I hate absolutely. It's like किसी को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट भेजना है, किसी को इनवॉइस भेजना है, कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन नहीं करके भेज रहा है, किसी का इनवॉइस क्लियर नहीं हो रहा है, किसी को इनवॉइस के डेट चेंज चाहिए. All that jazz happens in freelancing, I'm telling you. So it's like a lot more than freelancing. It's more, lot more than skills. You have to know a lot of other things. You can eventually get habitual of it. You can eventually learn it, but I'm just trying to give a gist of what freelancing actually has in it, right, for you. Skills is 30% of it. You are good at what you do. You can learn skills. You can learn how to write well. But again, if you do not have interest in it, I don't think you can get better at that skill. So yeah, it is very important to know if you are interested in it or not, right? Cool. So when it comes to operations, let's say let's take an example of a client. Let's say someone reached out to me. Okay. Let's say it's an inbound lead. What I would do उसके बाद, what I have to do, what process, what steps should I take when someone reaches out to me? I first will try to understand what they actually want. That is discovery. Maybe you can send out a discovery form. I usually have a discovery call so that I can talk to them face to face. Takes my 30 minutes of the day, but it's great because you talk to people face to face and it builds trust. I prefer having discovery calls instead of discovery forms. But yeah, obviously if you scale it, if it gets bigger, you obviously have to cut down on meetings. You have to take care of key there are not a lot of meetings and there's not much time taken. So yeah, you have to figure out discovery forms as well on the later stage. But initially I prefer to have discovery calls because people coming in, they believe a face rather than a piece of form or a piece of paper or a piece of blank screen, whatever you call it. So what happens is I get on a discovery call, I figure out their problems, then I research about it, then I figure out their profiles, then I research their competitors, then I research their content, then I research their you know market, then I research about their product. So whatever you get to know on the discovery call, think of it and research about it and figure out if it's a project that you want to take in. Most of the times you might be taking the project, but yeah, take care of the red flags that come in, not people not clearing invoices, people not be responsive. It's kind of uh, जैसे बोलते हैं ताली एक हाथ से नहीं बजती, तो it's like that. Clients also have to be responsive. It's not just our job to do everything on our own. They also have to be responsive, even if थोड़ा सा चाहे, but they have to be responsive in terms कि you are getting results. I just clear this to my clients कि you have to do this, otherwise you won't get results. You have to be clear, you have to be transparent since the beginning when you onboard a client. So what I usually do is get on a discovery call, figure out what they exactly want, research about it, even if it's a good fit or not. Then I onboard them after discovery calls onboarding. That you are closing them, then that you are onboarding them for your services. Onboarding, I do onboarding call. Onboarding call, I talk to them. Figure out their info. I figure out their ideas, what they want to talk about, what they do not want to talk about. I usually send a questionnaire as well after the onboarding call. But the things that I want initially, I talk to them in the call, in an onboarding call. Maybe things that they don't want to talk about on LinkedIn. How do they want to portray themselves on LinkedIn? Basic things you have to clear in that onboarding call. How is a discovery call different than an onboarding call? It's like in in discovery call, you basically discover what they want and not the whole other stuff कि क्या करना है उनको LinkedIn पे क्या नहीं करना. In an onboarding call, you basically start with the services. You figure out what you are going to do in the coming months. You figure out the processes. You figure out कि exactly what would be the strategy, उनको क्या चाहिए, उनको क्या नहीं चाहिए. So yeah, operations has all of that stuff on onboarding, and then you actually start with the services. You create drafts, you get them edited, you get feedback on them. Obviously, you edit them, you get feedback on them, then you edit them. You communicate it to clients. Communication is also an important part. You have to uh, eventually get better at communication. It's like if you're not good at communication, I think 50% of the project is gone. Like initial, it's like 50% chances are just khatam hai ki communication अच्छी नहीं है, तो I think it's you are done. See, communication, why I'm saying is important, because if you are not able to tell clearly what you provide and what your processes would look like, and if you're not able to talk to them confidently, I think you have lost the game, right? So you will get better. I'm not saying you are not good at communication. I'm just saying communication is an essential part, and you have to maybe think twice initially. कि what should I say? What should I not say? All of that stuff in communications. So yeah, then you when you onboard them, you send them a contract, you send them an invoice, and I think all these templates you can find in Fueller's Freelancer kit. uh, I kind of figured out a template from Fueller's kit only, and maybe personalize it a bit according to me, and added some stuff all that I did. So yeah, you can get a lot of resources on the internet regarding freelancing. You can get a lot of templates. All you have to do is just go to Google, or maybe ask ChatGPT, or maybe ask the AI tool, which is like really simple. And most important part, you're in a community, right? You can ask people questions. You can ask people, your doubts, and you can ask if they have templates, specific templates, or whatever you want. The biggest, I think, advantage of a community is this: you get a lot of support. You don't have to worry about you are doing it alone. There's a whole community behind you. So yeah, this is one good thing about being in communities like Freelancer. So yeah, operations. When operations part is done, you have to do the actual work, which you was supposed to do, right? After you all do all of that jazz, onboarding them, discovery calls, invoices, contracts, nudging them 100 times to clear the contracts and invoices, all that stuff. So how do you do the actual work when it comes to, right? So I think what I would do is I will show you a template. I will show you how I do the actual work. How does it begin actually? So I want to show you a template. Let me open it. So let's say you have onboarded the client, you have done everything. Now you want to start with their content creation. Let's say you are writing LinkedIn posts and you are writing Twitter threads for them. How do you start, right? What do you do is you talk to them and you figure out a strategy for them कि what would work and क्या उनके बारे में बोलना चाहिए LinkedIn पे, right? It initially starts with an introductory post on LinkedIn, introducing yourself to the world and warming up your audience. कि I'm there on LinkedIn, I will be posting regularly, stuff like that. So yeah, I figure out what things I have to talk about them on LinkedIn, what should I post about, which is basically themes, or you can say content pillars. content pillars, let's say in case of me, ghostwriting, I'm ghostwriting for clients. I'm a full-time freelancer. I also like fitness. I'm also into fitness. So what I would do is create my content buckets, like, I can talk about fitness, I can talk about freelancing, and I can talk about, tips and tricks regarding freelancing. So these are my content pillars, or say themes, or content buckets, you can say, right? When I figure out what my content pillars are, I decide कि क्या पोस्ट करना है, कितनी फ्रीक्वेंसी पे पोस्ट करना है. लेट्स से आई वांट टू पोस्ट थ्राइस अ वीक. आई विल फिगर आउट कि एक फिटनेस से रिलेटेड पोस्ट करते हैं, एंड एक फ्रीलांसिंग से रिलेटेड पोस्ट करते हैं, एक करते हैं टिप्स एंड ट्रिक्स से लेके. सो थ्री पिलर्स. अब उन थ्री पिलर्स के आई हैव टू डबल डाउन. आई हैव टू फिगर आउट कि उन थ्री पिलर्स के अंडर क्या आइडियाज हैं जिनके बारे में आई कैन टॉक, जिनके बारे में आई कैन राइट अबाउट. This is kind of how my LinkedIn strategy looks like when I talk to when I do the strategy part. So I figure out a direction for them कि उनको क्या करना है. Let's say a client wants to establish himself in the industry. Let's say thought leader वाला content. To establish, thought leadership. So this is their direction. Obviously it can be different in your words. You can, say persona or something, whatever you call it. It's like I'm just telling you, I'm just giving example. Establish thought leadership. Let's say they want to be, known in their industry. Reference profile, reference sources. I kind of figure out a few profiles and few sources that maybe you can source ideas from. See, nothing is original. Not right now. It's like you will find similar stories, you will find a lot of similar ideas. Let's say I took my first flight at 23. I'm not the only one who took my first flight at 23. There will be a million people out there who took their first flight at 23. So it's like nothing is original. What is original is your voice. So you have to take care of, you have the original, you have your authentic voice in the content that you're posting. Rest other ideas are like very similar. So I usually, when I, uh, I can't find ideas, what I do is I go to the sources, I go to reference profiles and figure out what they did talk about, which can be beneficial for my client and they can also talk about it. So yeah, frequency हो गया, how frequent you will be posting, days क्या हो गए, timings क्या हो गए. This is the part of the strategy. You have to lay down everything कि ये इस चीज़ के बारे में पोस्ट करना है, इसके बारे में इतना पोस्ट करना है, किस टाइम पे पोस्ट करना है, किस डे पे पोस्ट करना है. फॉलोअर्स, पोस्टिंग स्ट्रैटेजी, पर्सनल है, टॉप ऑफ द फनल है, बॉटम ऑफ द फनल है, मिडल ऑफ द फनल है, फ्रीक्वेंसी जो भी है, ये सब चीज़ें यू हैव टू डू. देन कम्स द आइडियाज पार्ट. You figure out a pillar that is personal, and then you figure out कि let's say I am my client. So I have a story. I took my first flight at 23. This would be my idea, and then I'll build on it कि क्या हुआ क्या नहीं, then a takeaway and all of that stuff. Outline में I usually give clients outline कि this is what I'm going to talk about. Let's say um, it was scary at first. These are guidelines, you have to build on these points. It was scary at first, and it's talking about the experience, and then take away. So this is like, there's an idea and there's an outline, and then type. I will suggest ki this could be a text plus image post. Let's say it's my first post. I will put an image of me at the airport. Images should be relevant. I'm guilty of it, but images should be relevant. So yeah, that's how you can define. If you are not able to figure out what should be your content pillar, or what should be the ideas under the content pillars or under the content buckets, you can just ask ChatGPT. I will do this in the last if you want. Yeah. Calendar, it's like I don't have a fancy this wala calendar, grids wala calendar. I just do it manually. मुझे ये सिंपल, जितना सिंपल रहे उतना बेटर है, उतना कम केओस रहता है, उतना मैनेज रहता है. सो आई जस्ट डू दिस ड्राफ्ट, पोस्ट डेट, स्टेटस, टाइम वगैरह वगैरह. Analytics, I do track analytics for every post. मान लो मैंने आज पोस्ट किया, आई विल पुट द डेट, आई विल पुट द पोस्ट का लिंक हियर, आई विल पुट द फॉलोअर्स, एंड द नेक्स्ट डे व्हेन आई पोस्ट another post, I will fill out the impressions, engagement, reposts and notes for the previous post. So this is how you can analyze every single day and iterate over it ki what went wrong, what went right, and how can I improve. So analytics is an important part. So you can see archive mein faltu stuff, whatever you can dump, more ideas, more sources, whatever you call it. It's strategy. लोग बोलते हैं ना कि strategist क्या करते हैं, strategist का कोई काम नहीं है. What is strategy? Strategy में है क्या? LinkedIn management is not just about post writing. पोस्ट राइट कैसे करोगे जब तुम्हारे पास आइडियाज ही नहीं है, जब तुम्हारे पास कंटेंट पिलर्स ही नहीं है, जब तुम्हारे पास ये ही नहीं है आइडिया कि तुम्हें किस दिन पोस्ट करना चाहिए, किस टाइम पे पोस्ट करना चाहिए. दैट्स व्हाट स्ट्रैटेजिस्ट डू. I strategize first. I sit down. I take a day or two. I figure out उनके पहले वाले post भी I check कि maybe there is something that they have posted which worked well. I analyze everything. I come up with a strategy which might work, not should work or would work, might work. Then I come back to the strategy 2 weeks later and figure out ki, is it actually working. I did iterate my strategy for 2 clients this today only because it was not working. I did not like it. It was not working. I iterated over it. I figured out the analytics. I figured out topics. I figured out that this is not working. I have to iterate on the strategy. So I quickly iterated them before the syncs, before the weekly meetings that I have with clients, and I presented it. Ki, this is what I want to do. There's a little bit change. There's a slight change because we are not growing, and if we want to grow, we have to do that instead. So yeah, I think conviction. Uh, Additional tip: conviction is very important. Bluff nahi karna. You don't have to lie. You don't have to bluff. You have to have conviction that whatever you are doing is going in the right direction and you know what you are doing. तुम कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे, तुम्हारा कॉन्फिडेंस खत्म होगा, तुम्हारा कॉन्फिडेंस लो होगा ना बोलते हुए, तुमको लगेगा कि यार ये ऐसे ही बोल रहा है, इसको कुछ नहीं आता, बस ऐसे ही कर रहे हैं, राइट? सो यू हैव टू हैव दैट कन्विक्शन. Even if you are figuring out, even if you are not an expert yet, even if you are just started, you still have to show them the conviction कि I know and I can do it. कैसे भी करना पड़े, I will do it. So it's like that. You have to have conviction. This is the part of the strategy that I usually create for clients. Everything from A to Z. And जब लिखने की बारी आती है, तो I pick the ideas. I create posts. I send the drafts in for review. People, uh, clients leave feedback. I edit it, and then gets posted. What happens when I get, when the ideas are over in this sheet, I usually schedule weekly calls with them. I have set up weekly calls. उस weekly call से एक दिन पहले या एक घंटा पहले I sit down, I figure out what would be the next ideas and then present in the meeting, present it in the weekly sync and ask them what is their perspective. So I have new set of ideas for next week's content. So that's what I do in weekly syncs. I usually discuss analytics, I usually discuss ideas, and then figure out key what would be the next ideas and find out the perspective. So yeah, this is what a strategy looks like. I hope you guys are getting it. Yeah, yeah, just keep sharing questions, yeah. I'm just talking. I'm just tired of talking. Give me something to reply to, yeah.
I have a question. Like Chelsea, while creating the strategy, do you also benchmark it with competitors? And if you do, then how do you do it?
What do you mean when you talk about benchmarking? कैसे benchmark किस basis पे?
For example, there are a lot of creators in a particular niche, and suppose you are working for someone in the edtech niche, and then you have one of their competitors. So, unka content view you can go through like ki what are the things they are posting, what are the things that are working well, what are the things that your client is missing out, what are the gaps. So, how like are you getting my point? Like, how do you benchmark it particularly? कि अच्छा ये चीज चल रही है competitor के perspective से, that could also work for your client.
When it comes to competitors, I think यार बेंचमार्किंग वाला सीन तो मुझे अभी समझ नहीं आया, बट व्हाट आई एम गेटिंग इज कि हाउ डू यू कंपेयर कि क्या यू नो व्हाट इज वर्किंग एंड व्हाट इज नॉट, इफ आई एम राइट, if
Yeah,
that's
majorly
kind
that.
of cool. So what I usually do is figure out creators who have already done great. Let's say 1 million, or some lakh followers, or some thousand. Let's say 50,000 followers, 70,000 followers. I pick big creators. If I let's say if I'm looking at competitors, I do not look at the competitors which are in the same range of followers, and in terms of let's say profile. Let's say if I have a client which has 10k followers, I won't pick a 10k wala person to figure out ki what's working and what's not. I will look at big creators ki what work for them, and then figure out for my client ki maybe it can work for my client as well. I can try that. But usually I do not do this. I start with my personal intuition ki this is my strategy and this is what I see. I don't think I have ever used, I have ever gone to a profile and checked कि उनके लिए क्या काम कर रहा है. What I initially do is I figure out their strategy, what their company is actually about. Okay, let's say I have a client which has a fintech company which believes in financial inclusion and working towards it. So financial inclusion will be my one content bucket, right? It will be my one content pillar that I would work on. I don't know if anyone else is talking about that specific thing like financial inclusion. I will find a lot of people talking about financial inclusion, but I don't think the way in which I want to present them talking about financial inclusion, I don't think anyone is talking like that. So it's more of figuring out from the person, from the client, what is working for them. And let's say if you have a very very common niche, let's say at tech, you can figure out what other people are doing. But I would say ki it doesn't work out for things. Similar things don't work out for everyone. Let's say someone is posting business case studies, uh, shield or navigator, I'll come to it. So it's like it doesn't, it's not similar for everyone. Everyone has a very different voice. So
That I
when I
totally get it. That you need to present your authentic self, your person, and is all about you, right?
right,
जो चीजें आपके कॉम्पिटिटर के लिए वर्क करी है, that might not work for you.
right,
But I often at times what I face is that you need to set a certain standard in front of your client that okay, this person is doing this and I can help you leverage it to this level.
okay, that see again. Uh, I would say, yeah, Ritin, please, if you have anything to add
Yeah,
more.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So with benchmarking, it's nothing but you come up with all the competitive analysis of that company. Okay, so you mentioned, right? So benchmarking is something being used in the corporate more often. Okay, I'll tell you this because
Right.
the projects are sometimes really really big. Okay, so they are in sometime in crores and more than like that, right? So benchmarking also helps you in understanding how deep you are into waters. Okay, so benchmarking essentially is nothing but you come up with all the things that the competitors and everybody else in the marketing they're doing. Okay, so you get an understanding of that and you present that in front of the client. So client also gets an idea. Okay, these are the people who can actually do things for us. Okay, so now I guess in case of Ninchan, she's asking ki, how to do benchmarking right for a client. So again, I guess the answer is very simple, right? If you're very so in case of designer, they go with this mood board thing. Okay, so they create mood board. Similarly, for a writer, you can go with swipe files. Okay, so there are things that you can create on your own style. Okay, and literally, what I feel is creating your own playbook really helps. The way you actually do the competitive analysis. Okay, and have certain parameters to it. Okay, this is actually a different session which can be taken again, where I
Right.
can help you understand all the different points you can take from the clients and where to go, what to take, and what are the things that can actually make an impact to the client, right? So that is essentially everything about benchmarking. Okay, so
Got
Makes
your point.
sense.
yeah, so it's
Got
nothing
it.
but a competitive analysis that you do, and that covers a lot of spectrum. That client does on a day-to-day basis, and you pick those. You go with 3 months, 6 months, and 90 day, I mean 1 year strategy, ठीक है, and you put it down in the form of a graph, then sheet and a lot of other things. As I mentioned, right, big corporates, they actually do this. Why? Because they have to come up with a detailed plan why our strategy is going to work for you and why this is something we're confident about. So you have to validate those, right? So
And
yeah,
even we have to back it up with factual data. So
yes,
that's one
exactly,
thing
yes, yes.
like I've learned recently.
Yes, for that you have to become CID. Okay, so yeah, that is that.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
this was new to me. Like, I am not aware with the corporate terms like
no, it's
benchmarking
fine, it's fine,
something.
totally fine.
So
Awesome.
it's like if it comes to benchmarking, I would say I have very short term strategies, let's say 2 weeks, and then I come to it, again and I iterate. So it's not like कि जो एक let's say कि किसी बड़े creator ने let's say ईशान वो whatever people सहेली उन्होंने अपनी strategy प्लान करके रखी है 6 महीने की, but that won't work in my case when I'm in the initial stages. I have to make growth happen, but it won't happen if I don't, change iterate over the strategies, iterate over the content over time. So it's like that. I do not have any specific benchmarks, but I do tell them that the goals that you want to achieve, I will help in the goals. Let's say उनको lead generation करना है, तो I would tailor the strategy according to the needs and figure out कि how I will get the leads, right. कि कैसे I have to reach the specific investors या reach the specific people that person wants to reach, or maybe in terms of getting leads. So it's a whole another topic, as Ritesh mentioned कि benchmark set करना है या goals कैसे करने हैं, which see I'm also learning. So it's like I do not have any specific thing that I benchmark कि हाँ मुझे ऐसे ही करना है, but uh, I move as with the flow. It's like let's say I'm working for a client, उनको अभी डिस्कवरेबिलिटी चाहिए, आई विल वर्क बेस्ड ऑन दैट. किसी को लीड्स चाहिए, आई विल वर्क बेस्ड ऑन दैट. कोई बोल रहा है कि मुझे बिजनेस चाहिए, तो आई विल डू दैट, बट देयर इज नॉट अ स्पेसिफिक बेंचमार्क बिकॉज आई एम एट द इनिशियल स्टेजेस एज आई जस्ट मेंशन कि मैंने लास्ट मंथ स्टार्ट किया है. तो लेट्स से इफ आई गेट 3 महीने का रिजल्ट, इफ आई गेट 3 मंथ्स का रिजल्ट कि इतने लीड्स जनरेट करे एंड इतने फॉलोअर्स जनरेट करे, so that will be my benchmark, right? That I can actually do. So I think I set my benchmark according to me, not the competitors, which I think I should start doing. So it's like a learning for me as well.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Please share the template. I want to learn about it more. It's like a new thing to me. There's also one more question. Do you use advanced tools like Shield or Navigator? So Navigator I have used once because the client wanted me to. Otherwise, it's like it's beneficial in lead generation as far as I've heard, but you can also do it manually. Also, Shield is a good app. I have used Shield as well. It gives you detailed analytics, but I think LinkedIn ka inbuilt analytics give me enough of the analytics that I want. If in future I want to use it, I will definitely use it. I like Shield. Shield is pretty detailed in analytics. I do not use any tools or stuff like that because I'm very at very initial stages. Maybe I'll need in the future, but I will definitely try them. Um, details. Okay. So yeah. Any more questions? Please drop in. Cool. So, in the actual work, I showed you the strategy part. How do I strategize and the content pillars and ideas and deliverables. There's one more important thing that is persona or say tone. अब मान लो कोई केस स्टडी लिख रहा है. आई एम लिटरली टेलिंग यू फ्रॉम माई एक्सपीरियंस. मैंने 4 सेम बंदों को देखा है लिंक्डइन पे. दे हैव केस स्टडीज इन द सेम फॉर्मेट. दे हैव सेम सिमिलर पिक्चर्स on a there's a picture, there's a black vignette, and there's a black and yellow text on the picture. It's like I cannot differentiate those people because they had posted the same similar format and similar structure of the image, right? I cannot differentiate people. तो वहाँ पे उनकी टोन मिस हो गई. I know when you scale their accounts, when you scale it, you run out of ideas. You start doing random things, case studies या कुछ और. But I think even if you're doing case studies, even if you're doing similar things like other people, you have to take in account their tone or persona. Let's say if I think a content piece is generic that I'm creating, I would ask a client for their personalized insight. Maybe they can send me a voice note or a text note, and then or maybe tell me ki this is what I think of it, and I'll add the personalized insight in the piece so that it doesn't look generic. Plus, it also has their voice, right? So it's very important. It's not just writing words and getting engagement or analytics. It's more of how you are presenting that person, out there. So taking in account their tone is very important, which is kind of gets very subjective in terms of writing threads and tweets, because tweets are like pretty straightforward. थोड़ा बहुत tone होता है, थोड़ा बहुत personal रहता है, but when you are writing business, let's say someone in the business industry is very established and he writes about businesses, तो वो बहुत ऐसे लगेगा कि there is no tone and there is उसका कोई voice नहीं है, but yeah, very subjective when it comes to threads and tweets. Yes, LinkedIn content. अब LinkedIn content में what do you do? LinkedIn content में you write basically LinkedIn posts. There's a LinkedIn post and उसमें hook होता है, CT होता है, body है, pictures लगाने हैं नहीं करने, algorithm है, metrics है. What do you do? तो LinkedIn content के case में when you are writing a post, let's say I'm writing a personal story or I'm writing a case study or whatever I'm writing, there should be a hook, there should be a body, there should be a CTA. CTA is very subjective. CTA depends. CTA, you can call it a end hook. I say it end hook because it sounds more better than CTA. CTA is like persuading, forcing people to comment or forcing people to engage. I call it a end hook so that people automatically get engaged and talk about your post or maybe engage or maybe comment about it. So, how to write a LinkedIn post, which is a very common question again. How do you write a LinkedIn post? How do you write content that stands out? How do you write content which gets more impressions? And question. So, like very common question, how do you write a LinkedIn post? Basically, this. There's a hook, there's a body, there's a CTA, there's an image. Image is optional if you want to keep it, and it's very optional. So, hook. Coming to the hook, it should be very engaging, which is very understandable. It should intrigue the reader कि वो क्या पढ़ने जा रहा है, and hook should give away 50% of the gist कि what is going to be in your post. In case of this post, is Bikini Airlines the reason that Vietnam has overnight blown up in Indian travel circles? So recently, if you observed, a few months back, a lot of people were traveling to Vietnam. I don't know if they're still doing it, but a lot of people were traveling to Vietnam and mostly Indians. So this is a post which can actually give a reason कि हाँ, this is what I observed and this is my take on it. तो ऐसा kind of post बन गया है. अब Bikini Airlines, you will get कि how did we come to Bikini Airlines वाला part. तो द रीजन दैट अब सभी को उन्होंने इंट्रीग कर दिया कि वियतनाम लोग जा तो रहे हैं, बट क्या बिकनी एयरलाइंस इज द रीजन बिहाइंड इट? इट वाज नॉट 50%. So yeah, 50% this hook gave me the 50% just कि क्या होने वाला है इस पोस्ट में, what I'm going to talk about in the post. That is कि वियतनाम क्यों जा रहे हैं लोग, why most of the people are going to Vietnam, is Bikini Airlines the reason. So it gives you the 50% gist of what is going to be in your post. It should be intriguing, it should be like very 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 engaging. Hook is the only part, not the only part. Hook and an image if you are putting an image. Otherwise, hook is the most important aspect if you are not putting an image. Then comes the body. So let me break down the structure. Hook. There's a hook and there comes the body of it. अब उसमें क्या है? The pandemic has clearly died and revenge travel has kicked in full swing. You have either taken a trip, planning or doing, or you are dying out of FOMO. Then it gives away a little bit insight into it. कि pandemic खत्म हो गया, people are traveling a lot, and तुम ट्रिप प्लान कर रहे हो या और यू आर डाइंग आउट ऑफ फोमो एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट, थोड़ा सा पर्सनलाइज कर दिया उसको। ये डायरेक्टली उस पे नहीं आया कि बिकनी एयरलाइंस पे नहीं आया या वियतनाम के बारे में बात नहीं करी। मे बी गिव अ लिटिल बिट summary in your second sentence. First sentence is obviously your opening sentence, which is a hook. Second sentence, treat it as a summary, maybe a little bit brief into what you're going to talk about. So this gives me the insight, this gives me the conclusion कि पैंडेमिक खत्म हुआ है, उसके बाद लोगों ने बहुत ज़्यादा ट्रैवल ट्रिप्स प्लान करने, दे हैव स्टार्टेड टू प्लान a lot of trips. So a little bit summary kind of part. You can obviously ignore it, you can simply stick to the hook, body and CTA structure, but I am trying to break down थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा. Then comes the post, पूरा post which is telling you कि ऐसे ऐसे हुआ था. But what is interesting? Anyone can write a hook body CTA. What is different? What is different is how you keep people engaged till the end. And इसमें क्या है? You will see a lot of questions, you will see a lot of parts where there's a suspense. Let's say, which is mind boggling because I paid more for a Delhi to Bangalore trip, बैंगलोर टिकट रिसेंटली. अब यहाँ पे ये है कि वियत जेट की जो वियतनाम एयरलाइंस की जो वो है, वियत जेट है या बिकिनी एयरलाइंस है, जो भी है, उसकी टिकट्स इतनी सस्ती हैं, लाइक लेस देन बैंगलोर दिल्ली टू बैंगलोर टिकट. सारे फैक्ट्स ऐसे ऐड कर दिए रिलेटिबिलिटी वाले. लेट्स से I won't care about Vietnam airline का flight का fare is very less, but if it is related to Delhi or Bangalore की tickets, I would definitely read it because it's relatable to me, right? तो relatability का element is there. When it comes to a post, how does it stand out? It has a good hook. It has a element of virality. अब वो element of virality या तो ये होएगा कि it is very, it blowed your mind, and it could be emotional, it could be sadness, it could be tragedy, it could be nationalism. Nationalism performs very well on LinkedIn. These are the few elements of virality. Your post should have a hook, your post should have a element of virality, which can be emotional, tragedy, happiness, achievement, or nationalism, and a good CTA. That's pretty much it. Hook has a lot of you know importance when it comes to us comes to your post, because if people don't click on read more, your all effort will go to waste if they don't read uh, you know after your hook. So this is basically it. Hook, body structure, element of virality that you have to take care of, plus you have to take care of the flow, if it's flowing right. So one tip that I give to everyone when it comes to flow, write the way you talk. उसको बोल बोल के देखो 4-5 बार. इफ इट फील्स लाइक कि नहीं 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 हो रहा, नहीं मजा आ रहा, इट इज द फ्लो इज ब्रोकन, देन फिगर आउट अ वे टू मेक इट फ्लो, राइट? सो फ्लो इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. लेट्स से कि तुमने अब्रप्टली एक चीज से दूसरी चीज पे जंप कर दिया, तो वो फ्लो ब्रेक हो गया, तो वो रीडर विल स्टॉप कि यार ये क्या हो गया एकदम से. दे विल फील इट, देयर इज अब्रप्ट एंड. अभी तो उस चीज के बारे में बात कर रहा था, अब इस चीज के बारे में स्टार्ट कर दी, so they won't read it. Hook, body, element of virality, flow will come with experience. I'm not saying कि एकदम से तुम्हें पता चल जाएगा कि flow कैसे बनता है. You will experience it, you will experiment with writing post, and then you will get to know कि कैसे flow हो रहा है post. Right, the way you talk, I will say कि I write like I'm having a conversation with the reader. So it's like that. I do like that. किसी की client का post लिख रही हूँ, तो I will like speak it out loud like 4 to 5 times to figure out कि the flow is broken or not. Yeah, CTA is, I hope it is, you can see it. Huh. So the CTA is when are you making a trip, which is like a very generic, if you say. But again, the people who have gone to Vietnam will comment कि I have been to Vietnam, or maybe someone else commenting कि we are planning to, you know, we are planning to go to Vietnam, things like that. It is a very generic CTA, but the good part is it flows with the post. It goes well with the post. Talking about trips and talking about Vietnam, talking about places, eventually it doesn't break the flow. अब CTA में तुम ये लिख दो, what do you think about it, do you agree, or things like that, they break the flow. They're not good CTAs. So I won't call it a CTA. I would call it a end hook that people get engaged with, that people engage eventually. So it's like a very generic CTA, but it flows well with the post. Image is optional. uh, if you have a relevant image, do post it. Do give people the context ki this is what I'm going to talk about. And sometimes image helps in boosting your posts, but right now the algorithm is a little bit changing. When you post personal images, what LinkedIn does, it just pushes to your first connections, right? It doesn't, your picture wala post won't go out in your second or third connections because the algorithm is performing like that. So yeah, if your picture is relevant, I would say use it. Otherwise, don't. Yeah, this was pretty much it around LinkedIn posts. Do you have any questions around writing LinkedIn posts? Yeah, people post with irrelevant food image, but it's like I will tell you something. I know it's irrelevant, but what people have done is, let's say Sachin Jha started the trend, right? So what happened is, it's now a part of his personal brand. Kind of, he made it a part of his personal brand. उसने starting से ही food pictures post करने start करे थे. So kind of very subjective if you're posting irrelevant images. Let me go to the question. I'm writing 5 posts a week now. Can you say one tofu to wafu, mofu, and entails? Say one tofu to wafu. See, if comes to strategizing कि एक टोफू करना है, एक जो भी करना है, it eventually comes down to your goals. तो मैं inbound करना है, तुम्हें followers चाहिए, तो you can figure out that way. Let's say तुम्हें followers चाहिए, तो तुम बहुत ज़्यादा educational post करोगे, educational post करोगे. Uh, let's say I want more followers, I will post more around freelancing, educational tips and tricks kind of thing. मुझे ज़्यादा clients चाहिए, तो I will post more around case studies and testimonials, and how did I get my client good results. So it depends on the strategy. How do you decide pricing per post? It's pricing per post is very subjective. Some people usually define it in a way कि हाँ RPW or PPW, पैसे per word or rupee per word. Usually people go with, initially when they don't have an idea, even I did not. I started with 1 rupee per word, which is very basic kind of standard pricing. So I started with it. Eventually I figured out कि I have to get my time's worth. Let's say मुझे ये post लिखने में uh, 30 minutes लगे, 30 minutes रिसर्च का लगा, तो आई विल प्राइस अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट. अगेन इट्स वेरी सब्जेक्टिव. एक दिन हम बात कर रहे थे कि प्राइसिंग कैसे की जाए. तो इट्स लाइक, think of a price which you are comfortable with. These are not my words, someone else told it, I don't recall. Figure out the pricing which you're comfortable with, quote it. If people say you're insane, this is not good, this is very high, you reduce it. कोई बोल रहा, if someone is okay with it, then go with it. And keep increasing your prices as you get comfortable and as you get more experience. This is how you price basically. But I would say standard is like 300 or 400 per post. So this is basically what you can do. How to get started as a beginner? I covered this in the starting. If you were there, Chatur Vishnu. Uh, so basically, how to get started as a beginner is you start with something you experiment with. Let's say you want to start with freelancing, and let's say you pick content writing. You experiment with it in 4 to 3 months or maybe 6 months, and then you figure out if it's your thing or not. If it's your thing, double down on it. Better your skills, upskill, and keep practicing so that you get better at what you do and which more clients, and that's how you get started by experimenting with it. Could you expand a little on tofu and tofu? Okay, layman terms. So it's like top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, middle of the funnel. So top of the funnel is like the awareness part. Basically, I don't see it as a बहुत ज़्यादा uh, let me make it simple. So they are people use it in marketing. Ki top of the funnel hai, middle of the funnel hai, and bottom of the funnel hai. Top of the funnel, treat it as an awareness stage. Ki you are you are posting, and let's say you are posting your personal story, you get discovered. This is the awareness stage, and this is your top of the funnel post, top of the funnel category, which is your personal post. When it comes to middle of the funnel, let's say you got discovered by people, and then now you want to double down on what you know, and you want to attract possible clients. So what you do is attract with your educational content. Then you post a little bit around what you know, uh, just attract your clients by putting out educational content. Bottom of the funnel is basically, closing the clients. I know this is not the right term, but it's basically, attracting your client that he is in your DMs, or maybe you get an inbound lead. So what happens is, bottom of the funnel is the last stage of the funnel. It's like it's where your client gets uh, convinced ki I have to talk to this person for the services. So awareness is top of the funnel. Then, what did I say? Yeah, nurturing. Someone said middle of the funnel is nurturing stage. You basically attract clients. Bottom of the funnel is when you actually where you actually close clients. You post testimonials, you post case studies, and which is your uh, bottom of the funnel posts or maybe categories. So yeah, do you have any other questions? Does anyone have questions regarding LinkedIn posts? Okay, I'm moving on. Threads. I'm not an expert at it. I'm experimenting with threads right now. I'm experimenting with tweets, but I know a thing or two that I'm going to share. Someone wanted to know about threads as well, so I included it. Someone also wanted to know about reel scripts. I also added this. I also added the script part. I'm going to share which I already know with you know by experimenting and by what I've done and based on my experience. So threads, it is very similar to a LinkedIn post. It has a hook, it has a body, it has a CTA, it has pictures, it has videos, or maybe GIFs you can also add. So hook is the similar thing. You write something that which really intrigues the reader, and they click on read more. Hook is the Hook is basically the same thing, similar thing in LinkedIn and Twitter hooks. So yeah, hook is basically the similar thing. I will show you an example, then you'll know. Body and CTA. Basically, what matters on Twitter threads is the length. Twitter has, let's say, even if you have blue, you have you have a limit of, let's say, a lot of words on Twitter Premium. But I would suggest keep it shorter. Twitter was meant for shorter posts and stuff like that. What I would suggest is threads में जो भी information होती है ना, it is very bite sized. Let's say LinkedIn में मैंने 4 lines लिखी, it will be compressed to 2 lines in when it comes to threads. Let me show you a thread as well. Um, my network is very slow. Great. I hope someone has not deleted it. Cool, I will find it for you. I think I wrote the wrong link. Just a minute, I'm figuring it out. I'm trying to find that thread which was initially meant supposed to be in the link. It's a nice thread. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, yeah, when it comes to suggestion on YouTube videos, I think you can experiment with videos. Bhai, गूगल करो एंड गो टू वीडियोस एंड चेक आउट किसका कंटेंट पसंद आता है. आई डोंट लाइक वीडियोस एट ऑल. I just read. So reading is my you know kind of my thing. I don't like watching videos. I don't like listening to podcasts. What I usually do is I read. Let's say I would suggest एक बार श्रेया पट्टर का देख लो. She is very practical. She has straightforward tips. मुझे बाकी सब भी में I like श्रेया पट्टर का content. Even if it's reels, even if it's content, it's very practical and nice that you can actually go through. Uh, yeah. Otherwise, when it comes to YouTube videos, तो YouTube videos में you can just go to YouTube and figure out कि क्या तुम्हें पसंद आ रहा है क्या नहीं, because it's very subjective. You don't like, it's not like कि हर किसी को same video पसंद आएगी जो मुझे पसंद आई है. Are you finding a thread he wrote about Ellen? नहीं यार, I am finding a thread that he wrote about the Benz all apart. Yeah, this one. इसका starting कहाँ पे है? Stay with me, guys. I know it's cool. So there's a thread I was looking at. See, Carl Benz established a 80 billion car empire with no money, no father, and despite losing everything during World War II. Based on my experience, the element here is tragedy. उसके पास कुछ भी नहीं था. He had no money, no father, and he lost everything during World War II, and he still established a well-known company. Which, see, the book has a element of virality that is tragedy, or maybe say it's emotional kind of, you can say. If we see from business perspective, it's like he started from scratch, and how did he come so far. So ये सब चीजें हैं. One good thing about a great thread is it has a nice flow. The flow is not broken, and it has information very, in a very compressed way and very shorter words. So in the age of horse carriages, he invented the combustion engine, carburetor, and जो भी है ये tech that made cars possible. Again, another interesting insight. He जब when horse carriages were there, how did he invent a lot of things which made cars to be on our roads possible. So the Mercedes-Benz story in 5 minutes. This hook has everything that I want. Carl Benz was a person who made this company, who brought this company so far. He had nothing, and he invented a lot of things, and then the Mercedes-Benz story in 5 minutes. It has a lot of twists and turns. If you want to go through it, like I want to go through it, it's with peace part, you can go through it aram se. But what I'm trying to say is, it is a very nice thread that you should look at. So what is the insight is it has a very nice hook and it has a very flowy story. So what I would say is I would suggest in terms of threads ka structure is write a nice hook, write a little bit backstory, and then come to the technical parts so that people stick to it via storytelling, and you give away the gist of it. So what I follow in my threads is write a nice hook which intrigues the reader, and then uh, do a little bit backstory, and then explain what you are going to explain. Right? This is what I did with the Parleji thread. If anyone has seen or not, I don't know. Cool. Let me come back to where I was initially. Here is a nice thread. Share this time. So I hope you can see the script all apart. Cool. Someone also wanted to know about scripts. कि scripts में क्या करना है, scripts कैसे लिखनी है, what is the structure that someone should follow when it comes to scripts. It's again the similar thing. You should have a nice hook. You should have great body. You should have a nice flow. You should have great CTA. तो let me show you. Reels के case में there's a थोड़ा सा technical part, not technical part, you can say थोड़ा सा there's a logic. So when it comes to scripts, it's like there's this three-act structure that usually people follow who have cracked the LinkedIn code. I always say LinkedIn. It's like who have the people who have figured out the Instagram algo. there are three things: setup, confrontation, and resolution. Basically, setup is like setting the plot of your story or your reel. Confrontation is like basically problems that you are putting out to people, and then you're giving the resolution, you're giving away the solutions of that. It is basically the structure of almost every reel that you come across. Let's say this reel, I won't take much time, this is like almost the last two slides. uh, See this reel. I don't know if anyone has seen that or not, but let me show you.
And started a agency. Rent khana pani like paisa bana leta tha. But that offer was fucking insane. I looked at the email again and again. कॉलेज भी खत्म नहीं करा था. This was the golden opportunity. एजेंसी वैसे भी नहीं चलने वाली थी. थोड़ा सेल्फ डाउट था उन दिनों में, but थोड़ा arrogant भी था. चलाई एजेंसी. I saw more money than I had ever seen in my entire life in the next 3 months. Eventually agency acquired हो गई. I joined a new company as a co-founder and the rest is history.
यस।
Remember that एक साल पुराना वाला जॉब ऑफर?
हाँ बेटा।
What if मैंने खुद में विश्वास नहीं रखा होता?
अरे खुद में विश्वास करना, खुद में बिलीव करना हमेशा ही अच्छा होता है बेटा, तभी तो हम लाइफ में आगे ग्रो करते हैं।
Yeah, true. जिंदगी के डिफरेंट चौराहों पर तकदीर तुमसे पूछेगी सेल्फ वर्थ या सेल्फ डाउट. सेल्फ वर्थ चुनना. बहुत उम्र है फक अराउंड करने की. अपॉर्चुनिटीज आएंगी, चुनना सीखो.
Cool, let's come back to our structure. This reel has the elements that I told you about: setup, confrontation, resolution. How? Let me show you. When I was 19, I received 22 LPA offer, which is basically the hook of the reel, and it is also shown in the thumbnail if you see. It's very important that your thumbnails have the hook in it, and for better visibility and for better discoverability, obviously. It has a hook and then it has a confrontation कि एजेंसी तो वैसे भी नहीं चलने वाली थी. Confrontation is, basically can define confrontation as problems as well, कि problems क्या क्या थी. Let's say this is a story but it has the similar elements. A hook, a confrontation is which is basically problems कि एजेंसी वैसे भी नहीं चलने वाली थी, and a lot of other problems that he mentioned या जो भी है. You can call it a, give it a word कि problems के बारे में बात करें. Self worth या self doubt, again, like problems that he's putting in. And then he gives away the resolution कि अपॉर्चुनिटीज आएंगी, चुनना सीखो, या मे बी सेल्फ वर्थ या जो भी है सेल्फ डाउट, तो सेल्फ वर्थ चुनना. So it's like a solution to that. It's like a resolution. He started with a nice hook, then he gives away the confrontation, that is basically problems. He is confronting something, these are the problems, and then he gives away resolution. कि मेरे पास भी ऐसा ऐसा था. I chose my self worth. I chose the opportunity that I wanted, and a CTA. If you don't need this, send this to someone who does, which stays for like a very microsecond. If you know, if you didn't know about this, I think it's something gold that I discovered. The part where you do this when you are writing a script, keep these things in mind. There's a hook, there's a setup, there's a confrontation, and there's a resolution. These four parts plus one CTA, five parts make a reel very great. If you're good at storytelling, you'll also get better at it eventually. So this is something that I discovered while I was writing scripts, or maybe working with him or Kabir or other people that I was working with, right? So this is what people use when they're writing a script reel. Also, like, there are more things to consider, jump cut or other cuts that are there, but you can obviously Google it and figure out कि क्या क्या cuts होते हैं. Obviously, I don't know about them because I have never shot a reel myself. So you can figure out eventually, but this is the structure when it comes to writing a reel script. Cool. I think I'm almost done. I think we can do the chat GPT session some other day. What I can do is अभी बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम हो चुका है, तो what I want to do is chat GPT का सेशन किसी दिन ऐसे ही मज़े मज़े में करते हैं. What I would do is, talk to you guys and figure out कि कैसे तुम content create कर सकते हो. Let's say मैंने chat GPT से बात करी और मैंने इसको ट्रेन कर दिया कि मेरी पोस्ट कैसे लिखेगा. I usually like write 30% of my post through ChatGPT. Well, we can do that thing later on, maybe some other fun session. ठीक है, तो ChatGPT वाला थोड़ा टाइम लग जाएगा, थोड़ा prompt iteration में टाइम लगता है. Yeah, finally, if you have any other question and questions to ask, I mostly covered the gist of what is, what things are there when it comes to thread structure, reel structure, या जो भी है. I wanted to cover the basics of everything. If you have any questions, please. A lot of people have already left, which is obviously understandable thing. Are there some good scriptwriter profiles on Fula? I tried to find them but didn't find much that Prantik or Freelancer can help you with. I hope you like the real part, which was very new to me, and I'm very proud of it to figure out a way to present that because it was in my mind for a long time कि भाई कैसे बताऊँ reels कैसे लिखेंगे. Anand asked me, I think. तो या रील्स के लिए आई विल ट्राई. सी आई डोंट वॉच वीडियोस, आई डोंट लिसन टू पॉडकास्ट, तो मेरे पास इतने रिसोर्सेज नहीं है सर्च करने के लिए. बट आई वुड रिकमेंड इज कि ट्राई टू गूगल इट. लाइक इट्स वेरी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड. ट्राई करो. जो तुम्हें चीज़ नहीं पता चल रही है, इट विल ऑलवेज बी, इट विल ऑलरेडी बी ऑन ट्विटर और इंस्टाग्राम. कोई ना कोई ज़रूर बात कर रहा होगा उसके बारे में. Try to search and try to figure out a way if nobody knows about it. So this is what I do. This is how I figure things. This is how I have come this far. Figuring out things, experimenting with things, and searching. I have done like मैं छोटे छोटे वर्ड्स को भी गूगल करती रहती हूँ कि ये क्या है. You figure it out by doing it yourself. तुम लोगों से पूछ के नहीं सीखोगे, तुम खुद करके ही सीखोगे वो चीज़. कूल. किसी के पास कोई क्वेश्चंस है तो यार बोलो.
I don't. So hi Chelsea. I guess or we don't have more questions here, right? Okay. So anyone will send question on WhatsApp. ठीक है?
Cool.
And yeah,
Works.
just also mention, right? If anyone has any question, how they can connect with you. Okay. So
I have some feedback. Keep the audience engaged. By the way, I joined for the first time and spent more than literally for the first time. But अच्छा, okay, I will keep this in mind. I see. It's my second time I'm hosting something, so I'm learning with you guys together, right? I'm figuring it out with you. That's why I said कि I'm not an expert. I'm just trying to learn and share what I learned, and I want to do it together. मुझे अभी नहीं पता है कि ऑडियंस को एंगेज कैसे रखना है, बट आई विल फिगर इट आउट इवेंचुअली विद यू ऑल.
okay. Dinner menu. Nice.
फील और
Yeah,
होमी से
well,
सब डिनर.
sure, Anmol, thank you. We'll do that. And also, guys, we missed out the ChatGPT part, right? So maybe we'll be hosting one more session on ChatGPT for writers. Don't worry, we'll be updating you all. Okay, please join our community. If you are not on our Filler community, you are missing out on a lot of things. Here is the link. Make sure you join the first two one. We are Filler one and we are Filler two because those are the main you can say main groups. Other than this, the other niche groups, so you can actually do this.
So Karishma asked कि should we do the same while writing a YouTube script? See, I have not done YouTube scripts at all. I'm not aware of it, so maybe I can research it, or maybe someone can help with it. If someone has written YouTube scripts, I'm not aware of it, so I cannot answer it. Like,
Oh
sorry.
yes, yes. Don't worry, we will help you with that. Who has asked this question?
Karishma Sharma has asked, is the same structure while
Yeah,
writing
yeah,
a
done,
YouTube
done,
script?
done. Don't worry. So we have some of the proof of work fueler who has written. I mean, the people. There are some of our committee members who have written YouTube scripts, so we can refer to those. Okay.
Thank you for joining, guys. It was so long. I'm so glad that even if 10 people stayed, 10 or more, जो भी है, जितने भी है.
Yeah.
आई टोल्ड रितिन एंड प्रांतिक कि भाई इसको लिंक्डइन वाला मेजरली फ्रीलांसिंग घोस्ट राइटिंग कर दो. इन्होंने कॉपीराइटिंग भी लिख दिया. इनको ना अच्छा अच्छा डिजाइन बनाना है, तो इन्होंने सब ऐड कर दिया. अब वो 1 घंटे में कवर तो होता नहीं है. अब वो इतना लंबा अभी भी. सी यू कैन सी इट इट्स स्ट्रेच. अभी तो मैंने सिर्फ बेसिक उठाया है. इट्स लाइक द टिप ऑफ द आइसबर्ग. When you go down, there's a lot of things to discuss. So yeah,
Okay, कोई नहीं. So Pranti, it's a hint. We are inviting her again.
Keep inviting me. I'll get better at it with you
Of
all.
course, of course. I mean, we learn together, right? We learn and grow together. So, first of all, thank you so much, right? And for doing this detailed session, right? I love the fact that you have taken out things from different places, right? And did the dissection. I'm sure you did a lot of the heavy lifting there, okay? So, chalo.
See, I did this. If you guys saw in like my first slide, uh,
Yeah. You wrote that.
it's like, but I spent the time on this and then I just figured it out ki how to present it. Last time I did not do this, so I was very confused. This time it was thoda sa helpful ki
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
structured in a way.
Writing really helps actually. Even I do this for every session or every even I go for meetup and podcast and stuff. Actually, write the pointers because it helps us create the outline. Right. A lot of time,
Right.
what really happens is when there is open thing, right? So, क्या होता है कि we deviate from the main thing, right? So that outline helps us, be in structure. So even if you are speaking somewhere, right? So if you start with say I'm going to cover three things today, right? So they'll be like, okay, fine, he's not going to waste our time. So three things only done. So that's how like it really helps. So thank you so much. I guess it went. I mean, super. Okay, a lot of us took a lot of things from here. And yes, you are going to get this on YouTube as well. Okay, don't worry. You can refer back to
people
this
who
anytime.
missed the people who missed you will have the recording and you can find me at this link there, proof of work and my
Yeah.
other links as well. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. I'm also pretty much active on Twitter. You can find me at LinkedIn and Twitter, but don't DM me on WhatsApp randomly यार, क्योंकि it's already so flooded. तो मुझे टाइम लग जाता है to figure out the right questions कि किसने कुछ पूछा है. I do not miss out on it. there are
Yeah.
there are times I miss out on WhatsApp messages, so better to message
Email
people
her.
on LinkedIn. email तो email भी ठीक है, but हाँ, it's like LinkedIn is a better platform to for these things because WhatsApp is usually flooded. वो personal professional mix हो जाता है, तो I miss out on a lot of questions, and it has happened a lot of times. That's why I do not recommend uh, messaging a lot of questions on WhatsApp. I usually reply, but I do miss out on it.
Sure. So all of you might already got the idea, right? So you can directly write to Chelsea. Okay. So thank you once again, everyone, for joining in. I will click a quick picture. Okay. So that yeah. Chelsea already
Should
ready.
I stop my screen? Yeah, it's looking cute. I like the whale.
Yeah. Fine. And by the way, how many of you just judge the fonts?
None.
Yeah. So okay, guys. I'll click a picture. Okay, on count of three. You're sharing the screen.
If you want, I can remove it.
Sure. Okay, chalo. Okay, guys. I'm really sorry who are not in the camera. Chalo, bye. Chalo, guys. On count of three. Okay, one, two, three. Awesome. Chalo, guys. Thank you so much for joining in once again. Okay, anything you want to say, Chelsea?
No, nothing. I'm really glad that you all joined in, and it was like really nice. You guys listening to me for 1.5 hours, so long as I spoke. I speak a lot, but yeah, I'm glad that you guys listened to me.
Chalo, great, awesome. So bye, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you again. Ta-da.